We are continuing on Hilchot Shabbat, and we're starting Hilchot Tofer today, sewing, attaching things together. One of the important things to understand, what's the difference between Tofer and Boneh, right? Let's imagine if I'm putting bricks together, I'm building something, versus I am sewing, attaching things through sewing. When is it Boneh, when is it Tofer? It's a good question, obviously, right? So, Tofer is when you are attaching two different separate bodies with a third item, right? You're putting the string in and sewing them up together. That is considered Tofer. We will see when you have the offshoots of this with gluing and attaching things with different items that we have in modern society. The halacha says that if you have sroch shnishmat min anal, if you have a lace shoe and the lace has come out, you want to know if I could put back the lace in, or maybe the question should be diverted, that can I put the laces into a brand new shoe? I bought it from the store, right? You see how one of them usually comes a little bit laced, and the other one you have to kind of like lace it yourself, or sometimes none of them is laced and you have to put it for the very first time. Those are good questions. So the halacha is, you cannot lace a brand new shoe that has never been laced before. Not because it is boneh or it is tofer, but because it is metaken mana. It's the last stage of the completion of the job of this shoe. It has never had a lace in it before. Whereas if you had a lace before, right, it was usable before, so to speak, right? It's not that now you are making it fit for usage. It was fit for usage before. Even if you are putting now a brand new lace, changing the old one for new, it is mutar, so long as it's not a brand new shoe. There are those who say nowadays things are different. Even a brand new shoe nowadays is equivalent of a used shoe back in their time, because the putting of the lacing, so to speak, putting the lace inside the holes used to be a very difficult thing. It was part of the making of the shoe, right? I don't know if people are old enough to remember before they had this metal ring around each one of the holes. It was much harder to put, to put, especially if the shoe was a leather shoe. Right? I see the smiles on those who have experienced this, like they're sitting there saying Avinu Malkeinu, trying to put one of these things in, especially before the laces also had that plastic, what? Yes, the end cap on the ends. It was like Tisha B'Av, trying to put this inside. It was a full day job. Nowadays, it's much easier. You have this metal rings, it's wide and nice, and you have the end caps on the lace, so you could do it 1, 2, 3 in 5 seconds. You could put the things in. So there are those poskim who are more mekel. This is not considered really finishing the job of the making of the shoes, but rather is something that you put. There are those who every week they have a different color lace. The girls, women, they switch it, they change whatever it is. So it's not really part of the making of it. It's more of a design. Some of the shoes they could even operate without the lace. Is just there partially for the looks of it, and so on and so forth. So there are those who are lenient that because it is easy to lace a shoe nowadays, it would be mutar. Again, lechatchila, a person should be machmir. If someone is lenient, you don't have to scream at them. You could let them be. They certainly have what to rely on, but the halacha stays that a person should stay away from lacing a brand new shoe that has never been laced before. So, that being said, not all of them. No, still, when you buy many of them, because especially in a day and age that there are 20 different ways of putting the lace inside and how it looks. The companies usually leave it up to you to see how you want to do it. They'll do it to you in the thing if you want them to, but many times at least one pair of it comes, one of the pair comes not laced. Now, that being said, how about attaching two ends of a garment with sticking a needle in, like you pin it with a pin. You want a pin attached to two ends together because you don't want it to look open. Your button fell down. You could come up with creative scenarios of why you're doing such a thing. So you want to put one pin inside to keep them together. That would be mutar. It's no problem with that. It's not isur of tofer, right? Because you're doing it without a string. You're just putting the pin inside, and the same would be if you're using a safety pin. Even though that it locks it in, so to speak, it's not something that you're doing for a long term, and therefore it will be mutar. Now, this becomes a very controversial area of halacha because, for instance, if you have a zipper that came off and you are putting a safety pin on a zipper of a pants for a man, so that obviously it's not something that you're going to keep there forever. Whereas if you have, let's say, a skirt for a woman that has a slit, and they don't want it to be open, they don't want it to have a slit for tzniut purposes, and they want to kind of like pin it together, that they're not going to take off until if they take it off, it's when they want to sew it up together in a permanent way. But it's no reason for them to take that off. On the contrary, they don't want it to come off. Whereas pants, every time you want to take it off, you would have to open that safety pin. So therefore, in that case, it will be much more of a temporary fix, not something that you want to stay long term, and that could affect the halacha as we will see this unfold. Now, there are those poskim who differentiate between how many stitches, so to speak, you make with the pin. In other words, if you have a sikat bitachon, if you have the safety pin and you just put it in and you lock it, fine, so you didn't do really much. Whereas if you have a longer, bigger one and you go 1, 2, 3, 4 times, it's equivalent of more than 2 trivot, because the shiur of tofer, the measurement for what is considered isur deoraita by sewing, is if you have 2 trivot, if you have 2 stitches, right? 2 stitches already is chayav. 1 stitch is going to undo itself, so therefore it's not chayav. 2 stitches stays, so therefore it's asur. Now, you'll say, well, how about if I do 2 stitches with the metal? The pin itself, let that be the stitches, right? So there are those who are machmir, that if you do 2 stitches with it, then it will be a problem. Chaubadia is more lenient, that this is not so. There's no, there's no threat over here, and you don't want it to stay. You're just doing a temporary attachment over here, and therefore, even if you do, equivalent of 2 stitches or more with the safety pin, it will be still mutar, and there is no problems whatsoever. Now, how about attaching things that are not with sewing process? The most common example of it is diapers for kids, right? Now, diapers for kids, the different ways of attaching the two ends, the 2 wings, so to speak, to the diaper. Some of them used to use a Velcro system. Some of them have a sticky part. The better, higher end ones nowadays, they have both. They have a little, Velcro system, and they also have a sticky part in each one of the sides that you open. Is that mutar to put, or is that not mutar to put, right? Is that considered an offshoot of tofer or not? Now, the halacha, and you find, by the way, many people who are machmir, that they open the diapers from before Shabbat, not just because of this, but also because of makeh patish and other things of mechatech, the way the things are cut and still sealed together. So you'll find them opening the diapers from before Shabbat comes in. Is in the to-do list of Erev Shabbat. They have this as well, also opening extra garbage bags, because that also are sealed when they cut them on the sides. When you open them, you're breaking that seal that was created, and so on and so forth. So you have people, but if you want to discuss bare bone halacha, will it be mutar, will it not be mutar, at least according to the more lenient opinion of Chacham Obadiah, it's mutar to use diapers on Shabbat, and it's mutar to open the the strap that he has, which is sticky, in order to close it up, close the diaper and diaper the kid, basically, right? But the problem is, you have to be careful that when you take the dirty diaper off, some people, especially men, they love to bundle it in a very tightly packed package, and then you kind of like close down that thing again. That should not be done, because when you diaper a kid, it's not. This is a very temporary thing. You're doing it for the next hour or two until you change the next diaper, right? But when you are making that package, so to speak, out of the dirty diaper, you don't want it to open, and you're not planning to open it until Mashiach comes. Like, you're trashing it, obviously. The longer the better. You want it to be an eternal, long-term attachment. So therefore, once you take the diapers off, best is to just fold it without closing anything and put it in the garbage. Or if you're concerned about the smell, you can put it in a plastic bag and kind of like wrap it around itself, twist it without tying anything, and put it in the disposal in your garbage. So that would be that. Now, again, when it comes to diapers, it's a longer discussion. There's a lot to talk about, and many people just prefer to open everything, including the sticky parts for before Shabbat, and they have a stack of opened diapers ready for use on Shabbat, and that would be certainly a lechatchila chumrah for a person that wants to develop that. But mikar adin, it would be mutar. The next topic we're going to discuss is going to be somewhat of trapping on Shabbat, hilchot sad, which Bezat Hashem will discuss in the days to come. Chazak u'beruch.